internet.
Oh, yeah, we didn't need to turn that on.
Yeah, so no. Go unplug it for me. Thank you, love. Hi, guys. We just came in from the creek. I just posted a picture. We were outside in the creek. We got probably like 30 crawdads. What do you guys call them? Crayfish, crawdads, crawfish, and one fish. We got a fish too. Oops, didn't mean to get fish. But that's okay. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Blaze. It's just going to be noisy today because I'm downstairs. As you can see, I'm sure you slightly remember this from old videos a long time ago. Because crawfish. Okay. See, I was raised calling them crawdads. So that's what I call them. So that's what I taught the kids to call them. So they're probably going to say it wrong, but oh well. I'm almost out of electrolytes though. Yeah, so we were down there. We don't have anything. So we used, hi Deborah, we used my strainer, my colander, my metal colander, and hot dogs. And Noah and I had the hot dogs. We were like putting them in the water back and forth, and they'd come over and grab them, and Cassidy would come in behind with the colander and she'd scoop them up. And that's so true, Wendy. It depends on who you are, where you are, and who's talking. Me, I'm talking. Yeah. So it was pretty funny. Oh, I got looped around. That's funny. While we were down there in the creek. What are you guys doing today? Anything spectacular or not spectacular? Hi, Lisa. Anybody have any questions that you want to ask? Anything you want to talk about? It was warm out there. It was very warm out there. But it was very nice. It was, let me see. What was it? Happy Sunday, Cassandra. It is 80 something, I'm guessing. 84. Rain starting in 35 minutes? Okay. It says it's going to rain. You're all black. You look adorable. Just got black socks with black capris and a black Hello Kitty shirt. Is it Hello Kitty? Yeah, it's Hello Kitty.
Yes.
Totally is. What can I help you with, Tiny Human?
I can still have yogurt.
You can have a yogurt. Just don't step in the water with your socks. Do y'all have a you just got a new rooster? Do y'all have a freezer that leaks? Like ours builds up water on the bottom and then it just sits there and like leaks off everywhere. Hourly. 51%. Okay, so we may not get hit if it's only 51%. Staying indoors, too hot currently, 106. Oh, that's terrible. 106? I know. Allie emailed me.
Nail thing?
Yeah, I know. Allie emailed me about a hammock. And I was like, yeah, I used to have one. Actually, we had 2 hammocks. They're right over there by my front door. But my trees, I don't have any trees that are close enough up here by the house. So I'd have to go into the forest into Tickville to hang it up. I ain't gonna do that. This is not gonna happen. So someday I'll order one with like a stand or something. But there you go. You're welcome. Yes, darling.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Not in the great room. Keep it at the table a little bit.
This is what I was talking about.
That's what you were talking about? For what? Oh, scooping crawdads up? Yeah. Rain and lightning it says it's going to start raining in 30 minutes. So be prepared, children of mine. I think we all technically need a hammock. I think that should be a requirement for quality of life. I think so. You guys can go watch TV. That you can do. Is the TV on? Oh no, you're eating. Have you set a date for your second Dr. Boz interview? I reached out to her and I talked to Angela, who schedules all of her stuff. She said that they're not scheduling anything until after KetoCon is over because they're not sure what the schedule looks like with that going on. So they will get back to me. I'm sure I'll email again shortly after if I don't hear anything. Hi, Tara. Hello, everybody. Getting ready to grill my beef and venison burgers with cheese and bacon. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Nope, no hammock. I have a zero gravity chair instead. See, that could technically be, I could totally see that as being a hammock replacement. It's a couple more months until it's venison season again, and then I'll have tons of back strap and all of that. Hi, Bonnie. Let me see. 77 and cloudy here in the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Yeah. I could see where it might rain. I could see that. This is only 51% of my town is going to get it though. So we'll see if we get hit. How long do you take the ketones in a can? It depends. Everybody's different. Some people need them, some people don't. If you are making your own ketones, then I wouldn't bother drinking them unless you need to stay in a higher state of ketosis continually. And but if you have been trying for a month to get into ketosis and you just are not making any ketones, then I would say then go ahead and do it. I try to give your bodies a good chance to do it on their own before you go to the ketones in a can, because what your liver does is going to be way better than what you can get in a can. So it depends. You can keep taking it. One of the reasons that Dr. Boz drinks them right now is because she's very fat adapted. She's been doing this for a long time. So sometimes she needs an extra boost in her ketone production. And our bodies become very used to what we're doing. So they don't want to keep doing it over and over and over again. When is the Fab Four getting together again? Hi, Uncle Big Guy. We have it scheduled to record on the 15th because Lindsay has some traveling to do this month and next month. So we've actually already scheduled our 2 meetings. So I meet with them again in 5 days. That's what kind of questions do you guys want me to ask on that? I'm looking for a piece of paper. On the Fab Four. You should come up with some questions for me to ask because it's in 5 days that we have to record. I don't know where a piece of paper is. I can just knock into my computer. My bad. Let me see. My Italian sausage is calling my name from the fridge. That's funny. Does anyone know if it's bad to sip exogenous ketones all day? It's not. It is actually probably a really good idea for some people to drink those all throughout the day because then it's going to give you a little boost rather than downing them all at once. And then you're going to have this huge boost that only lasts for so long and then you burn through them. Whereas if you are slowly sipping on them, then they'll stay in your system a whole lot longer and it won't be nearly as much. So it'll kind of just raise you and keep you up there for a little while. But again, it depends on what you're doing and what your goals are. So that's totally fine. Even the ones that have sweetener in them, when you're transitioning over to being in ketosis, then it's perfectly fine to do that. 80 degrees, only 37% humidity. Oh, that's not bad at all, actually. The 37% would be nice. The other day we were at like 77. It's like, yeah, it's getting a little humid. Using the ketones because I'm just getting back into ketosis again after not being in for a while. And you can, if you don't want to wait, you can absolutely use them. I'm new to keto, just got my mojo. Ooh, that's exciting. You'll have to let us know how your week goes. I got coconut oil. Apparently, I didn't rub that in very well. Hi, Marina. I've been keto for 3 weeks and my meter never goes above 0.5. So, Wendy, that could happen for a lot of reasons. You may not be eating enough fat because ketones are made from fat. So, you may not be making enough or eating enough fat to make the ketones. You may be eating too much protein or too many carbs. So, if you tell me a little bit about how you're eating, we may be able to troubleshoot it just a little bit. Sunny California. Oh, I bet. Yeah. Just before we left California 2 Septembers ago, it was 120 in Vacaville. So hot. Let me see. I've been doing carnivore for 2 months. Thankfully, I have lost 25 pounds. That's awesome. That is very good news. I know a lot of people who do carnivore and they go the opposite direction. Inside Appreciated, I work my way up to over 1.0 in ketones, but the next day crash back down to 0.4 and have to stay over again. Glucose is moderate, eating higher fat. So how much, Jill, same goes for you. How much protein and how many carbs are you eating? Because it's a balance of the three that matter. It doesn't matter if you're, eating really low carb. If you're eating too high of protein, you will still end up raising your insulin and it will turn into glucose. So you can let me know a little bit about how you're eating and then we can try to tweak it to see what's up. Because it could be your diet, but it could be more than that. But usually I always start with that because it's generally what it is. Is it okay to drink mineral water with a squeeze of lime? Yes, actually, lime and lemon can be very protective against kidney stones. They can help with a lot of other things. And as long as it's not like a half a cup, a quarter cup of it, just a squeeze is totally fine. It probably has like 2 carbs, 1 to 2 carbs per squeeze. So it shouldn't raise your insulin. If you consume over, I think it's like 7 grams of carbs, that's when your insulin has to bump up. So anything under that, like it'll raise a little bit, but not much. If you have collagen, do you count as protein doing Dr. Boz? I don't drink collagen powder anymore. I do count it. Oh dear, it left. There we go. My computer. I do count it. And the reason that I count it is because the collagen, especially collagen powder, raises my insulin. And the point of me eating a lower amount of protein is to keep my insulin from going up. So if I drink something or eat something that causes my insulin to go up, I absolutely do count it. It's actually why I got rid of my collagen powder. I have like 6 canisters in the pantry waiting for emergency food in case I ever need something, because I'd rather have it, than not have it. But I do count it. I don't drink it anymore though, because I did notice once I started testing with Dr. Boz, I would do it, and even with the fat in the coffee, my ketones would plummet after I drank the collagen. So that's the way I do it. Tiny human. This may be off topic if people don't want to talk about it. Not sure if there are any updates on it, but I'm really curious to know what everyone thinks about the Jimmy Moore situation. I will chime in on that. It doesn't surprise me. He came from a very horrific past. And a lot of times that is exactly what happens to people who have lived through that kind of trauma in the past. You can either rise above it or you become it. Those are your options. Hi, tiny human. What you doing, baby? You done in there? Turn off that light for me. Oh, crawdads are splashing around in the other room. You can turn it off. Jimmy Moore was arrested and booked on charges. and they were founded. They were not false. There's a lot more to the story that I'm sure is out there, but so he got in trouble. Thank you for using your manners. What is it, my love?
Can Cassie play the Switch?
The Switch, if it's offline. Okay. So, that's the Jimmy Moore situation. So he said anything about it. He's in jail. But I do know that he admitted to it. So, yeah. Yes. So my kids have to use their manners. They come up and they put their hand on me, and then they have to wait until I acknowledge them so that they don't interrupt. I love carnivore, but I had to stop because I got 2 kidney stones twice from eating that way. I wish there was a way around it. I felt good on carnivore minus the kidney stones. So, Rose, there actually is a way around it. You are probably going to have to do it a little bit slower, because when you go carnivore, the reason you start throwing kidney stones is that you've removed too many oxalates too fast. And that's the problem. And when you remove all of the oxalates all at once, your body begins dumping all of the oxalates all at once, which is why you end up with those kidney stones. So to help get rid of oxalates, you're going to want to increase your calcium. You're going to want to start drinking like lemon water, because the citric acid in the lemon helps to kind of round out some of the edges of the oxalates. And then you're going to want to keep some oxalate foods in. So you could do black tea. You can do cinnamon, black pepper. You could do a little bit of dark chocolate, or you could do some of the leafy greens, and then slowly step it down. If you go slower, then your body will still be taking in a little bit, but then it can detox a little bit more, and it'll be a gradual shift rather than an all of a sudden you're just done with it and your body goes, good, because we're going to dump this all too. So you absolutely can get around it. It's just going to take you a little bit more time to make the transition. So you can try that. But adding calcium, whether it's dairy or if you're doing a calcium supplement, I'm not a huge fan of calcium supplements, but in this case, when it helps with oxalates, because oxalates bind to calcium, and you don't want it binding to the calcium that's been leached from your bones or your teeth or anything else. So that's the one I'm okay with. Julia, oh, it's night in Germany. Oh, you used to live in Vacaville? That's funny. Julia, thank you. I thought I should. I've been eating moderate protein and 20 total carbs. I think it's because I've been diabetic for 20 years, 15 of which I've been insulin dependent. Probably. What is moderate protein? And how much fat are you eating? Like actual numbers. I want to know the actual numbers, because who was it? It was someone the other day, and they were like, oh yeah, I'm moderate protein. And so we added it up, and they were still at like 130 grams of protein. And they were like, oh, I'm supposed to be at less than 70. It's like, yeah. So what exact numbers? Because moderate protein. So I want to know your protein and your fat. And yes, the diabetic will absolutely have part of it. I don't know if you've read Dr. Boz's book. Anyway, you can. That one would probably be a good one to read, because it's the story of David. And even though he was not diagnosed as a diabetic in the beginning, she, was like, yeah, he was a diabetic. Once you kind of get into the book a little bit, he wasn't on insulin. So that does change the situation for sure. I am currently sitting on the deck reading Why We Get Sick by Ben Beckman. Yep, so much great information. So true. It's the book I give to people who want to try keto. Worked for my sister, but she didn't stick with it. It's so hard when people don't stick with it. They have to really want it. They have to understand it and want it for themselves. And that's just, it's hard. Yeah. Hello, Joy from East Tennessee. Let me see. So where is it? Does counting calories matter? It depends. It depends on a lot, because there's a lot of people in this space who will say counting calories doesn't matter. But if you are leptin or ghrelin resistant, counting calories matters. Because if you don't count your calories, you're not going to eat enough or you're going to way overeat. So it depends on the status of your hormones. If you have leptin resistance, then you don't know that you're full and you'll keep eating and eating and eating and eating. If you have ghrelin resistance, then you're never hungry and you don't want to eat. So for some people, counting calories really does make a difference because, just eat until you're stuffed. 5,000 calories later, you are definitely over consuming your fuel source and probably your protein and things like that. So in that way, calories absolutely do matter. You can overconsume them with messed up hunger hormones. Yeah. So that's my opinion on that. It kind of depends on what situation you're talking about. But for the most part, yes, you can overconsume your calories. And under eating is actually a bigger problem, especially for women, because we just don't eat as much. And our entire lives, we have been dieting and we have been consuming less calories because that's how we lose weight. And so we have lowered our metabolic rate, and that ends up causing some problems. Jill says, food has been consistent. I don't track every day, but eggs and pork belly for breakfast. Lunch and dinner are the same 4-ish ounces of meat, lemon curd, 2 fatty teas per day. Okay. So it really depends. It sounds like you may still be taking in too much protein because it would be interesting to see the actual numbers because 4 ounces of meat is pretty good. The eggs and the pork belly will absolutely have protein in them. I just don't know exactly how much. And for you, there's a good chance that you're just going to take a while to make the transition. Let me see. I'm just looking. Come on. Oh, stop it. There we go. Okay. My screen keeps like jumping. I'm scrolling and it's jumping and I can't keep up with it. Yes, the other part of that is that you, depending on how long you've been doing this, you may want to start getting your food into an eating window. It sounds like your metabolism is going to be one that's a little bit tougher and it's not going to want to budge. It doesn't want to shift over to burning fat and making ketones. So you are probably going to want to look at getting your food into an eating window, not necessarily fasting. You do not want to fast unless you are fat adapted. And until you are comfortable with the way that you are currently eating, because if you get too hungry while you're fasting, you're going to go and you're going to binge. And we want you to eat good foods and not risk going back to things like carbs and whatnot. So yeah, you could do an eating window. If right now you're eating everything in 12 hours, you could work on getting it down to like 10 hours and then eventually maybe 8 hours and just kind of keep going a little bit by little bit because it'll give you longer in between when the calories are coming in. You can still do black tea. You can do black tea, black coffee, and water with unsweetened electrolytes. So, yeah. Let me see. I started having heart palpitations with increased sugar. So I got a CGM and try to figure things out. The CGMs are awesome, but our bodies are so complex. What stage of the continuum are you on right now? How many weeks did you stay on each step? I am still eating all of my stuff in like 8 hours. So I'm a 16-8. right around there. And I'm not switching it up until my numbers get yucky or I need to stress my metabolism. Right now, I'm just trying to keep my ketones up so that I can work on fighting all the infections that I have. And when I need to stress my body, I will. But right now, my numbers are really good. So I'm just going to keep going with that. Okay, I'll try it. I'll win all in. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people do. I did too. I didn't have the really bad oxalate dumping, but Richard certainly did. These are my scissors. I don't know why they're over here. Okay. Okay, when I do carbs below 20 grams at night, I have restless leg syndrome. To get rid, have to eat a protein bar. Unfortunately, it's high in carbs. Yep. Any suggestions to get rid of the restless leg syndrome? So that is going to take a really long time to overcome. Restless leg takes a lot of time to build up, and it will take a lot of time to get rid of it. And the reason that you're getting it, one of the reasons you're getting it from the 20 grams, below 20 grams is because your body is flushing out the fluid. The electrolytes are all stored in the fluid. So if you're dropping extra water weight, you're also dropping electrolytes, and that can cause restless leg. It can cause all kinds of other things. I also wonder, I'm trying to remember if low iron had something to do with restless leg too. It seemed like maybe there was. Uncle Big Guy says, counting calories are a measurement of heat. Yeah, they are. It's better to look at grams. Most people don't know how many grams of what they should be eating, but that's what I do. I look at 20 grams and then under 70 grams and at least 140 grams. So that's what I do. I agree. I don't really worry too much about calories. Dr. Boz out of the box advice is to stay on each step at least 2 weeks. Yes. And not to rush it. Some people want to progress faster. And some crash and burn. Yeah, she actually does say that in the book. She's like, I want you there for 2 weeks. And then don't move on to the next one until it happens naturally, or you need to stress your metabolism. So it depends. We're wanting to take 4 to 6 weeks just to get to the higher levels. So unless you need to, don't push it. And you need to just slow your roll. We actually had a meeting about that in our VIPs in the Mighty Network on Thursday. It was called Slow Your Roll. And it's stop trying to force things. You need to go slower, step by step. We're like turtle and the hare here. We are the turtle. We are not going to rush this. It depends is so true. The more you look into it, the more factors matter. Yeah. Okay. Wendy, I eat around 100 protein, even though I'm aiming for 80. The fat is around 190. Right now I'm 510. So there are some people who try to lower their protein and it has a lot of negative side effects, and because they went too fast and they have to go back up on their protein and then stair step it down. 100 for me would still be too high. If you are very insulin resistant and your insulin is chronically high anyways, 100 may still be too high. My insulin jumps up if I go above 70. I can't go above 70. You're taller than I am for sure. So you would be able to handle more of it, but that honestly could be the biggest factor. Some people are able to go down to what they should be at, the estimate, with absolutely no side effects. And then other people try to do it and they tank hard and it doesn't go well for them. So you have to figure out which one you are. With your problems with your insulin resistance and the diabetes and being on insulin, you may need to cut it way down to get your results. And it's just going to take time. So until you get your protein down, we won't know whether or not that is the problem. You're also going to be popping a lot of glycogen bubbles, because when we have fatty livers, once we stop bringing in too much protein and too many carbs, then no matter what, we start popping our glycogen reserves, and that goes into our bloodstream, and it's going to raise our blood sugar, which then, of course, in turn raises our insulin. So it's a very long healing process, unfortunately. And there it jumps again. Let me see. Thank you, Julie. I did keto for a while and then fell on the high protein. I had been doing 7 days now, and the fat coffee is still fasting. So, did you just start your journey? Oh, at Wendy. Got it. Been doing it for 3 weeks. So yeah, you're still very much at the beginning of your journey if it's for 3 weeks. Oh yeah, 3 weeks. I wouldn't expect anybody to have many results in 3 weeks. Period. The first time I did keto, an actual keto, not carnivore, but with the high fat, the first time we did that, I didn't have any results in 3 weeks. Not even close. Mine took about 6 months before I really started noticing changes. And yes, I lost some weight, and yes, I did some other things, but the really big things, like coming off of my medications, my pain reduction, my eyesight getting a little bit better, yeah, that didn't happen for 6 months. So 3 weeks is nothing. Like it's just the beginning. Everyone wants the immediate results, and they just don't come with the amount of damage that we've done to our bodies, unfortunately. Julia says it is not recommended to start fasting that early on. Consistent ketosis is where it's at. True story. Dr. Boz did her first fast like 6 months into her own journey and only 36 hours. Yeah, she does not recommend anything over 72 hours. And she even says that some people never need to get to the fasting stage. You can't rush it. When you try to rush it, bad things happen. Internally, they can happen mentally, physiologically. You really can't rush it. You got to just slow your roll and ride the wave. Let me see. Hi, Marina, again. Okay, I was already doing keto and fasting 18 to 20 hours before I found Dr. Boz's way. Fasting doesn't bother me, and I was skipping meals because of buy days on accident without issue. Okay, so most people try to push the fasting, which is why we're like, don't rush it, don't do that. But if you were already doing it beforehand, you're an adult, you get to pick. It sounds like you know what you're doing, so that's nice. Wendy says, no, I'm not really hungry, although at night I eat a lot of cheese. Oh, dairy is very, very inflammatory. It's an equal blend of fat and protein for the most part. Like the fattiest cheese that I have is, and I'm not talking about cream cheese, because cream cheese honestly is even worse. But yeah, dairy is more addictive than gluten. It actually lights up your brain better than gluten does. So that is and especially late at night. So another tip would be to consume all of your calories during daylight hours, which is not too hard in the summertime because, it's late and like 9:30 at night. But come wintertime, you're done eating by 4 because, you only have a small window of time to do that. Our hormones are more in balance when the sun is up. And getting out into the actual sunlight with bare skin and naked eyes, no contact lenses, no glasses, no windows, no windshields, that can help to balance everything really, really well. Hi, Ford. I just saw you. Let me see. Sounds like your leptin is working just fine. Yeah. For me, I wasn't ever hungry, but I could be snacky. Dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I just wanted to see where she was because I have similar health issues with autoimmune. I think that there's a lot of us that have autoimmune conditions and we don't even know. Like I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what was wrong. And now I'm like, yeah, I got something wrong. Just don't restrict yourself too much, especially at the start. Yeah, 3 weeks. Do not restrict anything. Find a way to eat what is comfy for the rest of your life. I don't restrict my hunger naturally down regulated. Yeah, mine's starting to do that now. It's starting. Oh, Tina, you got on. You snuck away. Yeah, so much food at the beginning and still lost. If you are in Mighty, yes, you can become a VIP if you join for free, but you have to do it from a computer. You can't do it on a phone. It's my nemesis. So Mighty Networks has to approve you to sell through Apple. And I've been waiting for like 6 months to get approval, and they still haven't approved me to sell through Apple. And it costs more. Whereas if you just do it on a computer, even if it's an Apple computer, you can still do it on the computer and pay the lower price and then get signed up. So if you're on the free group, then you go over onto the side and it says groups, and you go down there and then you click on the groups, and then it'll pop up with the options that are available, and you can pick one of those. I'm kicking myself for buying so much collagen. I have so much collagen. An MCT oil powder. I need to go back to regular MCT so I can save on the protein and carbs. Yeah, I know. You're not alone at all. I'm saving them for, emergency situation. Then I've got powdered protein that's going to last for a long time. Whoop, it jumped. There we go. Fun fact, my fasting insulin in January was 1.6. Lower limit is 2. And I'm still morbidly obese. I'm one of those pretty healthy fat people. So that exists too. Yeah, it really, really does. You can be overweight without getting a whole lot of problems. And then you can also be very thin and have a ton of problems. And you don't realize that you have them because you look healthy. My C-peptide was fine though. Oh, that's nice. My C-peptide was a little up. At the start, it was very impatient and wanted to cut all the corners. Doesn't work. Don't do it. Wendy says, thank you, Julia. I went strict in the beginning watching macros and calories. Now I'm just trying to pay attention to protein, fat, and carbs. Watching carbs is enough at the start. You got to start watching a bit more when your weight loss slows down. It took me 3 months or so to get going at the start. Yep. Letting everything heal. Hi, Keto Mama. Let me see. I'm on day 24 with Dr. Boz, and my morning numbers are horrible. Still no weight loss. Even though I'm 100 pounds overweight, still feel like crap. So have you had your iron checked? Your iron and your ferritin. That is for a while going to be my very first question for all of the people who say that they feel like crap doing this. My very first question is, have you had your iron and your ferritin checked? Because people who have low iron and chronically low ferritin or anemia really cannot do this well. And there's a reason for it. Indigo Neely just found out what she tried in the past to do keto, and it was horrible. They checked your ferritin and your iron levels and everything was okay. But she tried, and she felt beyond horrible. She was eating like 5,000 calories a day. She was ravenous. She was hangry. Well, it's because her iron levels are so low that her body was like, I really need the iron, and you're going to die if you don't. So if this is all you're going to eat, then you're just going to keep eating until we can get enough iron from this. So for her, the lower protein absolutely does not work because she's taking in a ton of iron and yet her body isn't processing it. So she's like really damaging herself by not eating more meat. That's why she has to eat so much more protein. I burst your bubble. You love your cream cheese. Don't get me wrong. I love cream cheese too. I just don't touch it anymore. So if your iron and your ferritin are fine, it could be, if your morning numbers are horrible, it's probably glycogen. I think in the book, I could be getting this wrong, but I think that the guy in the book, I mean, it took like over a year for his morning numbers to really stabilize because he had such a fatty liver and he had to break away all of the fat little by little by little. Yeah. So it can take a really long time for your morning numbers to come down depending on how fatty your liver is. Still feeling like crap? Are you sure you're eating 20 or less carbs? And then are you keeping your protein low? Because you could still be running on glucose and that's why you feel like crap. I'm just throwing out some ideas. Yeah. Let me see. Julia says, if your insulin is high, your body cannot access its own fat 100%. This is why you have to eat fat. You can't. I know that there are other people who say, if you're already fat, all you need is the low carb. If you're already high fat, because you as a person, then all you need is the low carb. Not if you're living in a state of high insulin. When your insulin is up, you do not open up your cells to use them as fuel. You just can't. It is biology. It's chemistry. You cannot access the fat on your own body. You have to get your insulin low first. And for some people, that takes a very, very long time. And there's no rushing it because you have to shift your chemistry. You have to lower your insulin. And for some people, your insulin has been chronically high for 30 years, 40, 50, it really depends. So going and, rushing it, then a lot of people will get really discouraged because it's not working, but it is working. And there's ways that you can see that you are actually making progress. So Patty says, so having heavy whipping cream in my late night decaf is bad? ? It depends. Follow your numbers. If you are doing Dr. Boz's protocol and you check your numbers in the morning and they're good, don't worry about it. Don't change it. If they're not good, you can try removing the heavy whipping cream and see what happens. So it really depends on the person. It depends on the situation. Your body is going to adapt eventually, and you're probably going to have to give it up eventually. But if your numbers are good right now, then don't worry about it. Just keep it as it was. Oh, Deborah says, I wish I could do VIP, but I only have the phone. I have actually had 2 or 3 people that went to the library and used one of the computers at the library or at a friend's house to sign up for the VIPs. I don't know what to do. Like unless you have an Android, you can try to do it from an Android. I have tried. I have asked Mighty Network. I'm like, why are you not approving me for this? Nothing. Crickets. No response. So annoying. I'm confused with this Mighty Network. I signed up and I am a member, but I'm not understanding. What are you not understanding? You can email me. If you guys have any questions at all about anything, my email is carnivoresangel@gmail.com. If it'll let me post. There we go. Okay. Carnivores, no apostrophe. Angel, I always capitalize the A so you can see the 2 words, @gmail.com. Email me and we will do everything that we can to try to get you into it because it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. So, yes, the VIPs do have a monthly membership because it's group coaching. So I actually coach you publicly in front of other people because then they learn from what you are going through. You learn from one another, but it's much more one-on-one. I do also have individual coaching that includes the VIPs. But then once a month, you and I do an hour-long session where we focus on just you. We don't talk about anybody else or anything else, and we get to work on just your stuff. So I do offer that too. Most people don't need that. Most people honestly benefit so much from the Mighty Network and from listening to other people's struggles and helping support one another because I open up the room 30 minutes before the Zoom meetings. So I'll have anywhere from 2 to 10, 15 people in the meeting beforehand, just for the community time, just to talk with people and have a good time and share and things like that. Julia, fat is more than double protein. Yes, that is what, at least I shoot for at least food. Yes, emergency food storage. Yeah, because it's protein. It's powdered protein, yes, but it's protein. It's shelf stable protein. That is like gold. I mean, seriously. Hi, Sherry from North Carolina. Let me see. Oh, and it jumped. Yes, got blood work. Okay, yeah, you told me that. I'm good. Iron and ferritin are good. Dr. Mason has a really great video on iron and women's health and how it can stall weight loss. Highly recommend. My iron is fantastic and my ferritin is really high. Really, really high. So I'm the opposite of everything. It's called Dr. Paul Mason, How Iron Deficiency and Inflammation Can Make You Fat, a Female Perspective. Nice. Thank you. Uncle Big Guy says, you just burst my bubble. Oh, yeah, the cream cheese. Back to the cream cheese. I know Patty said the same thing. No cream cheese. It causes me inflammation. As does, okay, Tara, if you're clicking on a phone, it's going to say it's unavailable, or on a tablet. To become a VIP, it says you have to pay. Yes. But then it says it's not available. I just checked, and I had other people check as well. I had them go in to make sure that it was accessible, but you can't get it if you're on a phone. It will only work from a computer. That seems to be the theme of when it doesn't work. It's a pain in the butt. It's ridiculous. The problem with the collagen for me, come back, is I need it or something. Yep, connective joint dysfunction. I may need to switch to bone broth instead of powder. Thank you. I actually meant to say that. I actually eat chicken wings with like I'll eat the collagen on the chicken wings and the skin, lots of chicken skins, bone broth as well. Hello, chickens. So that it's okay, Tara. Tara. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get it right one of these days. My chickens just distracted me. So, that is what I do for my collagen. And I try to get the bone broth. Y'all, I am saving so many bones. Like, we used to eat chicken thighs and then throw the bones away. I'm saving all of those now. If we beef bone marrow, I save them. Even after the bones have been cooked, I'm saving them, and I'm going to continue to reuse them until they turn into mush, honestly, because I do not want to waste anything at this point in time. Prices are insane. So I have 15 bags full of used chicken bones in freezers right now. But yeah, bone broth might be a better option for you, Blaze, for sure. Let me see. Currently re-listening to Dr. Boz's second book. There's always something new I learn every single time. I've listened to them twice so far, and both times I've gone, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, okay. So everything I'm telling you guys, it's just, I'm word vomiting. I'm like, I took it in and now I'm giving it back to you. I just break it down for you in a way that I can understand and hopefully helps everyone else understand as well. I heard somewhere for better iron absorption, good amounts of citrus or vitamin C is needed. Yes. For some people, that is absolutely true. Just finding a good vitamin C supplement, that's a little bit harder. I'm not a fan of ascorbic acid at all because it is only the outer portion of the vitamin C molecule. The vitamin C itself has a shell. It's like an orange peel. That's ascorbic acid. There's 4 other components inside of vitamin C, including vitamin J, fun little fact. But all of those have been removed and you're only getting the orange peel when you take ascorbic acid. And a lot of ascorbic acid is made from wheat. So I prefer like acerola cherry, camu, something like that is a whole food source of vitamin C. It's harder to get the mega doses of that because of the form that it's in, because the ascorbic acid, you could take a bunch of orange peels, crush them down, and put a whole lot more in there, but it's not the full form of vitamin C, unfortunately. Yes, carbs below 20, mostly less, nothing consumed. Okay, so then, yeah, probably just healing. I have a hard time limiting cheese. I love cheese. Cheese is addictive. Dairy is very addictive. And there is absolutely no getting around that, unfortunately. Um, it's it's really more addictive than gluten for a lot of people. And it sucks because cheese is amazing. I love cheese. But I've gotten to the point now that I'm able to limit it. And Julia, I will absolutely preach. I need more electrolytes. I'm out of electrolytes. I've had 2 fatty coffees today. I have yet to try the chamomile tea fatty version at night. Deborah, it's so good. So good. I still put some stevia in it sometimes. The stevia glycerite. It's like a sugar cookie. So if ever you need a little sweet something, and if you don't need it, and Julia, people put fat in tea. Oh my gosh. Yes, I call it my bedtime tea. It's amazing. For people who are having a hard time making their ketones. This is my hack. Is that there's a doggy under there. It's like 8 ounces of hot water with chamomile tea so that it's going to help you to calm down and relax you. For people who are not fasting, or having an eating window, I do 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, not MCT oil. And the reason for this is because between the butter and the coconut oil, you're getting all 3 forms of the fatty acids. So you're getting short chain triglycerides, mostly from the butter, and then medium chain from like the 15% of the coconut oil that is actually MCT oil, and then long chain fatty acids as well from the other 85% of the coconut oil. They're going to give you consistent ketones all through the night because your body is transforming those into ketones. So you're going to get that burst from the short chains and then the medium chains, but then those longer chains are going through your system and then you'll get another boost. So a lot of people who've incorporated their bedtime tea has drastically improved their morning ketone numbers. So that's kind of like my little trick when people have a hard time making ketones and they get really discouraged. That seems to really help kind of boost everything up a little bit. It's not going to last forever, but it will, for now, in the beginning, it is a fantastic tool. Support is absolutely everything. Like this time around, honestly, it's been harder for me. It really has been because my husband isn't doing the exact same thing with me this time. My kids, they still eat fruit. They still eat, all these other things. It's getting darker. It's getting a little bit darker. It really has been harder. And so I'm very grateful for my tribe where I can go and encourage others, because when I'm encouraging them, it in turn encourages me. They give me encouragement. I'll text people and be like, I'm so done. And, so it gives them a chance to encourage me as well, because we weren't meant to do life alone. We just never were. Fran says, hi, Amy, currently reading Iodine, Why You Need It. Fascinating. My daughter suffers with chronic Lyme disease. Her resting heart rate stays around 100 to 105. Is her resting heart rate, is this an increase, or was that always normal before she started the iodine? Is she on the iodine? And have you read Iodine Crisis? The Iodine Crisis, that one is even more user-friendly. Iodine, Why You Need It is very scientific. It's very analytical. It's a good book, but I like the other one better because it brings it down to the human applicable level. So I do want to know those answers. Is she taking iodine? How much is she taking? And is the increase in heart rate a new thing since doing that? What do I have to do? It doesn't have to be chamomile tea, just any any caffeine-free tea. I actually prefer tea over decaf because decaf coffee still has caffeine in it. It's just a reduced amount, but does still have caffeine in it. So I actually prefer the tea instead of coffee at night. Patty, I'm glad you caught this live too. Have you had any tachycardia? Me? Personally? No. Mine was 1.0, the A1C. C-reactive. My A1C went up on carnivore. Yep. Worried about type 1, hoping it's just too much energy. It's probably too much protein. You raised your insulin up too much. That's why your cells are more glycated, because you're probably just eating too much protein. My A1C went up too. When I was keto, it was 5.2. And then when I went carnivore, it was up to like 5.6. I think was my latest one was 5.6. I can't remember. I went up too. It was all from the protein, because I was still, when I went carnivore, obviously I wasn't eating a lot of carbs. Nope. It's from the protein. I was consuming too much protein for me, and my body couldn't use all of it, so it began converting it into glucose and then storing it as fat and putting it in my liver. So sweet. Yeah. Thanks, body. Wendy says mine worked on the phone, but that was last year. Do you have an iPhone? Or do you have an Android? I don't remember what you have. I will check it out, Julia. I have a copy of my blood work, but not sure what exactly is the iron or ferritin. Doc only said I wasn't anemic. Yeah, so the ferritin is like your body's reserve of iron when you go through what you have in your... See, you have an Android, so it doesn't matter. Yep, if it's an iPhone, it won't work. But if it's an Android, I should make that clarification. I should make a clarification in this mess of clarifications. If you have an Android, you can click it from the phone. If you have an iPhone, you can't click it from the phone. And it's not my fault. I'm sorry. Yeah, so iron and ferritin, they're, yeah. Or you may be like on the low end of ferritin and they'll still say that you're normal, but it's not normal. So that can make a difference. Yeah. Don't you know? Sherry says, hi, Tina. I don't know why I announced that, but I did. My A1C was 5.0. That's awesome. Iron does have a lot of things, does a lot of things in the body. A lot of things. Julia said, Amy, I'm really happy I found you. Most people in this space are much older. Good to have my generation represented. Oh, yeah. I got you, girl. Of course, being in range doesn't mean we aren't deficient. See, I didn't even have to say it. You already said it. You got it figured out. You're good. There's a good one from Amazon. I don't know what we're talking about. Caroline, you made it. I just scratched one of my bug bites. I'm a dork. Let me see. Never heard of fat in tea. You know what? It's funny because the English, they're like, do you want sugar or cream or both? And I was like, well, I can't have heavy whipping cream. And I used to drink peppermint tea with heavy whipping cream in it. So good. And of course with sugar, because I liked everything sweet. So that's where I got the idea. I was like, so I do 1 tablespoon of both. 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil in my tea. And it's phenomenal. It tastes like a sugar cookie if you do some stevia drops in it. It's crazy. You can absolutely leave the stevia out though, and it still has a very creamy, smooth, amazing flavor. What do I do when I have to eat out? I almost never eat out, ever, because I always get cross-contamination, and then for 3 days, I am miserable. Absolutely miserable. But if you are not as sensitive as me, when you go out to eat, you could do a burger patty. I can only do 1 burger patty. I can't get, like, even McDonald's, the 1/4 pound patties, I can only do 1. If I go over that, then my insulin like jumps way up. But you could do a burger patty with extra cheese. Hopefully it's real cheese. If it's not real cheese, take your losses. I always bring my own mayonnaise. A lot of people in this space are actually fine with the junky mayonnaise every once in a while, and they have no severe negative effects. I do. I would be in extreme pain and be out for the count for days. So I'll take my own mayonnaise. I'll take some of my sugar-free ketchup. I will get a pickle. I'm okay with the pickle. You can also do chicken wings if they have been fried in beef tallow. You can get the sauce on the side so that you control how much of it you end up consuming. You can do, if you're doing veg at all, you could do a Cobb salad with extra bacon, extra eggs, extra ham, extra cheese, extra avocado, and then you get tons and tons of toppings, and you can just do just a little bit of the lettuce, not a ton of it. You can do, actually, I like salmon when you go out to eat because they give you a much more normal size when you are doing Dr. Boz's protocol. Before, I just order a ribeye, but it was a whole pound of ribeye, which is way too much for me now. Now I understand that. That's why I kept having meat aversions, because my body was like, stop eating all this protein. This is too much for me, but I wasn't listening. So I hate to order anything other than, like, sometimes you can get a 7-ounce sirloin steak, something really small. You could do that. It'd probably push you over. You'd ask for butter on the side. And but I actually like salmon. When you go out to eat, you can ask for salmon with no sauce, no anything, or get the sauce. You do you. With extra butter on the side. Let me see. I'm trying to think of anything else. I haven't been out to eat for so long. I do Chipotle, though. I am actually able to handle Chipotle. I'll have some pain, but it's way better for the most part that I can handle the Chipotle. So for Chipotle, I'll do their pollo asado, and it's kind of a spicy marinated chicken. I'm sure that they're marinating in seed oils, which is why I hurt a little bit. I will get a half serving of the mild salsa, double cheese, double sour cream. Pretty sure I'm hurting from that too, but I got to get the fat up because I can't do the guacamole. With sometimes I'll do the grilled veggies, but for the most part I don't. I actually got their queso the other day. That upped the fat quite a bit too. That helped. I was hurting after all that dairy, but that was okay because I was in the car for 7 hours and needed some food. So the burrito bowls actually do pretty good for me as well. I pay for it a little bit, but that's fine. I get to do that. Yeah, so that's what I do when I eat out. If I have to eat out. I take Sleepy Time extra tea with coconut oil and butter nightly because I am a chronic insomniac. I don't think it has to be chamomile, but I would choose decaf or herbal. Yeah, the caffeine-free herbals for sure. Hi there, got 2 seconds before we play Barbies for the 900th time. You're surviving, Marty. I'm so happy. And she's so adorable. Marty's watching her granddaughter because she's getting a sibling. So she's there. She's 4. Oh, you're nice. I don't play Barbies. I'm a terrible Barbie player. Amy, have someone run a spoon under hot water and bring it to you. Put it on your bug bite. It'll soothe it. Ah! I didn't know that. That's really kind of cool. Oh, Wendy, that sounds awesome. I don't like tea, so that might be worth trying. I have cocoa butter wafers. Oh, what did I miss? Tea with cocoa butter. Oh, cocoa butter. I thought oil. Very cool. Yeah. I went to the Roadhouse for my birthday last month. I only ate steak. Even told them I was allergic to everything. Yeah, and asked if they could use a small, clean area of the grill and use just salt, swelling for 3 days. 100%. Every time. Every time. That's why I just, like, there's very few places I will actually go and I will actually eat out. I also have some of those. Great reminder. Yeah. It's just so funny, the cocoa butter. I have some. Like, I got some cocoa nibs. They're my favorite. So they're in my pantry waiting for another power outage. Who knows? That was 18 hours wasn't terrible. And I got some fun things just in case it happens again. Some lanterns I actually got. I think I showed you guys. They're outside right now. I got little LED like garden lights, and they're out there, but the top of them looks like almost like a little lantern. So we let them sit out there and charge all day so that just in case we lose power again, we'll just go pop it off and bring it inside and it'll be good. And then everyone will have their own little light and then they can turn it on and off at night. But then we don't have to have flashlights and they last for 8 to 10 hours. So all the kids can have them in their rooms, switch them off for sleeping. You don't need it for sleeping. And then, yeah, so we got those. I have a couple of bigger lanterns that have battery packs in them as well because the phone charging, that was crazy. We had the generator right out the front door. It was fun. It was very, very fun. I have been stalling with starting Dr. Boz because I've been eating out a lot this summer. I really want to try it. I have 20 pounds to go. I know. Yeah, I've got like 20 pounds to go, honestly. That's about what I have. Is you itchy? You are itchy. I'm not sure what that was. It's a dog. It's a pretty doggy. Yes, my pretty doggy. They'd be good in keto hot chocolate. Oh, I bet. Honestly, I would love to drink more hot chocolate, but I try to balance my oxalates. I had hound dog sniffing around my cocoa butter tea today. I love all your dogs, Wendy. You've got the cutest dogs. Oh my gosh. They're adorable. We get to see them going on walks when we're in the VIPs. Sometimes when you'll be taking them on a walk. So, I think they were right. I think it's going to start raining here pretty soon. Oh, and my husband is awake. Hello, my husband. I'm on a live. I'm sure he probably knows I'm on a live. He woke up 10 minutes ago. Not mine. Oh, you were stewarding. I was going to say, well, you don't have hound dogs. No, you don't. Who is this person? Answering questions. How do you keep ticks off of your dogs? Can you find them on black dogs? Oh my gosh, the ticks, y'all, the ticks. So I give my dogs Bravecto. It's actually not too terribly horrible. It's about $60 for 3 months. So it's not bad, but with the Bravecto, once they bite the dogs, then they fall off dead, and then I'll find dead ticks in my house. The problem is if they don't bite them, then they just hitch a ride inside. So far, I actually haven't found any in the house, dead or alive, so that's good. The Bravecto seems to work better because we were using some other off-brand, and they were constantly like itching from the fleas and stuff like that. And I was like, if it's not working for the fleas, there's no way it's working for the ticks. So yeah, I use Bravecto. I thought about starting to use diatomaceous earth and sprinkling it on them. I just know that it can cause really dry skin. So I haven't done that yet. But I also did a doggy. Hello, doggy. Hang on. That's enough. No. No. Boof. Boof. Hush your face. No, you're fine. What is there? Is there an invader? You're fine. You're good. You're good. Thank you. No boof. I know. I'm sure someone's probably like bringing back the tractor because every time it's going to rain, They bring the tractor and then they park it out underneath the knot in the thing. And then I have to run out there. I know. If it's not the roosters, it's the dogs. Every time. So now your dog is barking. I'm sorry. My bad. No. Shut your face. Shush. I am 2 roosters short now. I finally harvested 2 of them over the last 2 days. Oh, shoot. I got to pull food out for the dogs. I forgot. Anyways, one of them, his name was Napoleon. He is no longer. He was this small, tiny little rooster. And man, did he have Napoleon complex. Like, he would attack me. He would attack Richard. He would attack the kids. He would attack the other chickens, the other roosters. He was just a jerk. And the roosters, I had too many, and they were beginning to fight. And so my good roosters were ending up with wounds, and I'm like, and I'm done. So once he attacked Bella this last time, he went bye-bye. And the dogs very much enjoyed him that day. It was 2 days ago. And then another one, we noticed that I think Napoleon had hurt him. So he like damaged his eye, and it was infected and oozing and not doing well. So I picked him too. And I did him yesterday. And so they got to eat him yesterday. So my doggies have had extremely fresh meat lately. And they enjoyed it. So I'm down to only 3 roosters. And honestly, the 2 that I killed weren't really the noisy ones. Just weren't really the noisy ones. But these ones actually seem to have calmed down a little bit. I really only need 2. Bye, Julia. Have a good day. I really only need 2. But I'm keeping 3 just in case the predators get them. We had a rooster that put my husband in the emergency room with a very bad wound through his genes. Mm-hmm. My husband never enjoyed a pot of chicken soup so much in his life. Agreed. Yep. When he got to that point, I was like, and we're done. We're absolutely done. We're not doing this anymore. Rooster, go bye-bye. Better late than ever. We've got like 15 minutes left. Oh, my tiny is laughing. Oh my gosh, that is too funny. Yeah, my dogs were boofing at something. I don't know what. And it's getting darker. Like, you can see this side used to be brighter because the window's over here. And now this side's brighter because of all the artificial lights. It's still sunny, but it's definitely getting darker. Yeah, I'll run it back. Been seriously, very busy. But anyways, so unless you guys have any other questions, I will let you go. Okay, there's a few more comments. Do you kill them or have someone else do it? We ended up with too many roosters a year ago, and I had to have them processed. Being a new country gal, I had a meltdown. I've toughened up since then. I do my own. I don't like it. It's definitely not my favorite thing to do, which is why I put it off for so long, because I've been honestly needing to call them for months. And I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But now with chicken prices, the food prices going up and up and up, I need to feed less faces that are not giving me eggs. So I called them. I think my favorite method is the broomstick method. Because I've tried the hanging them upside down and slitting the throat and letting it drain out. And it never works right. Ever. It's always a disaster. It's terrible. I hate it. I'm not going to do it anymore. So the broomstick method is better because it's cervical dislocation. You break their neck. And then they're instantly dead. And then they flap around. And they finish their, chicken with the head cut off routine without flinging blood everywhere. So much better. And then because of the cervical dislocation, you can cut through the neck a lot easier because I have to use a tree branch cutter if I don't do that to get through the neck. It's ridiculous. So I like the broomstick method much better. Yeah, that's my favorite one. If you want to know more detail than that, you can email me, and I'll send you the video where I learned about the broomstick method, which actually was in a harvesting rabbits video, not chickens. It's definitely getting darker outside. Yes, and then I watched a couple of videos and I brought it in here on my counter, and my 11-year-old stepdaughter helped, almost 11, 10 and a half, but we're rounding up here. So she wanted to see everything. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I think if I had to, I would get the rooster in a cage and shoot him. You know what's funny? The very first one that we ever killed, we did that with it, and we didn't think about it. It was a new gun that we'd never even shot before. It wasn't sighted in. So from 3 feet away, Richard missed. It was ridiculous. I was like, we're not wasting ammo on this. And thank goodness it went to the left and not to the right. It's Noah. Are you special? Stop. But yeah, so I was like, we are not doing this anymore. So now I do the broomstick method. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then cutting it up. I didn't have to cut it up that much, but because I wanted the dogs to share, I cut it up. And then because it was cut into pieces, I didn't want to give them the big weight-bearing bones, the leg bones, because sometimes those are a little too tough to digest. And yeah. Let me see. Yeah, so I do it. We're probably going to get meat rabbits as well. I'll do that too. I don't like it. I don't really want to do it, but I want to eat, and I want my dogs to eat. So I'm a big girl now. I put on my big girl pants and I did it. And I do pluck them. The only reason I plucked them is because I know that they can have the feathers. They would be totally fine to have the feathers. But I also have had a problem with them killing and eating one rooster before. And I don't want them to associate feathers with yummy. So I get a pot of, oh yeah, Pioneer Woman. Heck yeah. So I get a pot of water and I bring it to about 160 degrees. Then I go outside and I kill the rooster. I let it drain, for a little bit. And then by the time I come back in, it's about 150 degrees. And I put it in the sink and then I dunk the whole rooster in the pot and I make them do a little dance. And I like swish them around, pull them out, drip, 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 put it back in for about 20 seconds. I do that like 3 times. And then when you pull them out, you just check. And the easier they come out, then they're good. So then I'll pluck them. I plucked 83% of it. I was like, I'm not getting off all these little ones. Y'all can just deal with it. So I plucked most of it, but I left a lot of the really like the downy type feathers, because those will go through their intestines and clean out the parasites and things like that. So it's actually really good. Plus feathers are protein. So they have protein in them, which is good. So that's what I do for them. If it was a stew, then I would make sure that I got more of the feathers off. Don't really want feathery stew. That would be bad. Yeah. So canine Advantix 11 repels ticks and everything else. Lower risk getting sick from bites. I think it was way more expensive, and because I've got 2 dogs, we went with the Brevecto because it was $60 for 3 months versus the Advantix, which I think was a lot more expensive, especially because I got the big dogs. 85 and like 83 pounds, something like that. They aren't even, they're large dogs. They're not extra large. Hubs has been very successful with weight loss the last couple of weeks and pretty sick too. Oh, lots of gut problems. We're trying to figure it out. Seeing a gut doctor tomorrow. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm glad that you're seeing a doctor. I'm still waiting on my insurance to tell me where I can go through. We have insurance, but they just haven't sent us our cards yet. So, because there's always that probationary period of, when you first start working. And so I'm still waiting. Still haven't gone to see anyone. So much fun. Grind up roosters and make chicken burgers. Chicken burgers. I like it. Yeah, I'm buying more ducklings and more hens soon, plus another rooster. Fox got most of my flock about 3 months ago. I may be pioneer woman, but I am horrible at trapping. I cannot trap anything. I have literally a cage sitting there with a can of cat food, 3 marshmallows, and a chunk of raw meat inside of it. I can't catch a darn thing. I am so bad about that. Got to go to the store and buy cheese. As Neely says, no cheese shaming. You enjoy cheese for me because I can only have this much of it. So you have fun. Yeah. Ducklings are so nasty. I don't think I want to buy any more ducklings until we have a cage for them where they're up off of the ground and then the poop can go through and I can clean it out because duckling poop is so disgusting. They are so nasty. City girl. Sorry. Yeah. I actually did record it just for learning purposes and for teaching purposes, but I am not going to put that one up on YouTube. It's not going to happen. Their eggs are so good. I know. That's why we had ducks and we're now down another like 14 ducks because of coccidiosis. Fantastic. And the Corid did not work. Corid did not work at all. It was horrible. If I had to, oh yes, Grandma swung him by the neck, breaking the neck. It was just too hands-on. I like picked it up and I was like, I can't do it, but I can stand on its neck with a broomstick. I don't know, that's not hands-on. So my bad. Rabbit meat is delicious and low in fat. Yes, I will be adding a lot. Hi, Barb. I will be adding a lot of fat to the rabbit. Honestly, most of it's going to go for the dogs. We will absolutely eat the rabbits, but it's mostly just going to be for the dogs because in between deer season, they're eating my cow, and that I love them, but that's enough. I want my cow. What breed of rabbits are we going to get? Either Californias or New Zealand's for the meat rabbits because we've got some New Zealand's about an hour away and Californias are about 20 minutes away, so pretty darn close. I couldn't kill a rabbit. Too cute. Can't kill the chickens or ducks or the geese either. Not tough enough yet. Yeah, I put it off forever. I didn't want to. I really didn't want to. But the rabbits we were going to get are the white ones with the red eyes, so they're creepy. That didn't sound good. So, yeah, that's what we're going to get. Hi from Australia. Hi, Melissa. Yeah, ducklings are major messy. Oh, yeah, we already did that one. But the more you do it, the easier it gets to dress them out. Yes, the second time I did better, and I'm so close to not cutting through the intestines. Like I'm so close. I just sliced a tiny bit too, and you heard this little, and then it smells like poop. So close, but it was for the dogs, so I wasn't really that worried about it. They legitimately eat chicken poop. So tainted meat, not a big deal. They eat chicken poop every time they go outside. Yes, human. What can I do for you? Where's Bella?
She's in the other room playing Bedtime.
Oh, okay. Anyways, speaking of time, it's been about an hour and 30 minutes, so we're gonna call that good on because these are very long, very, very long lives. So if you go watch the playback, put it on faster speed. You can do like 1.5 speed. Then I go way faster. So anyways, I love you guys. I hope that you have a fantastic week next week. We'll see you on Thursday at 3:00. Same time, same place. And I'm going to go watch the storm roll in and we're going to see what happens. So, yeah. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.